Okay. Um, yeah, so I think this is probably we might get a few more people, but again, I think it's the middle of the day, so a lot of people have class. But thank you again so much for meeting with us. We really appreciate it. Uh, if let me see, did you want to just talk about the general program or like go Q&A?
Um,
Like what?
I I have a whole presentation. If you want to give me screen sharing privileges, I'd be happy to kind of go through it with you all. I think it'll answer a lot of the questions that you had proposed ahead of time. So if that's okay with you, I
Yes.
could just do that.
Okay. I think oh, did that just make you the whole host?
I don't know what it did, but I do have screen sharing ability. So whatever it did, it worked. But I don't know if it makes me the host or not.
Okay. Would
I can maybe tell.
yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, I think I switched.
Should be like co-host or
That's what I tried to figure out last time, but for some reason it wouldn't let me make a co-host and it was only host option.
something. Yeah, I'm seeing that as well. That's interesting. Well, if you're okay with, well, the thing is, I guess I can't let people into the room if I'm hosting and presenting. That's the only thing.
Yeah, let me see if there's Finn, do you know how to, because when I click it, it only said there's an option for host and there wasn't a co-host like I thought there was. Do you know how to do that?
I don't really have that much like experience with it. My guess is probably like it's 135 now.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know if it like does it give you like a little bing when someone tries to like enter the meeting?
It
There's
usually
usually
shows like a message like so and so is waiting in the room. Add them.
Okay. So I think honestly, I don't think we're gonna get that many more people joining. So I think Stephanie could just be the host of the meeting if it's not letting you guys co-host.
Mhm.
And I'm sure like only like one or two people will join, to be honest. So hopefully it doesn't disrupt the presentation too much.
Okay. So sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Okay.
You are good. Let me awesome. Okay. Oh, I see an admit. I'll admit that person. I saw that. Well, good lunchtime, afternoon to those that are here and on the recording. Hello, virtually. Um, if you are on live, I like to see faces. So even if you don't want to talk aloud, I would love if you feel comfortable taking your camera off. I don't care if you're eating lunch or petting your dog or doing anything cool like that. Or sitting outside enjoying some sunshine. Oh, thank you. But as I was explaining to your president, I love spending time with learners, and so it gives me joy to see learners' faces. So thanks for humoring me about that. I thank you for the invitation to speak with your group, both virtually, live, and in your recording. My name is Dr. Stephanie Gedzyk-Nieman. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I have the honor and the privilege of being the Assistant Dean of Pre-Licensure Programs here at Duke University. Um, and a little bit about me and who the heck I am and all of that. I've been with Duke since, July of 2020. So I'm going to put some other faces up here that you can meet as well if you're interested. I've been here since July of 2020. I'm a Midwest girl born and raised. I was recruited to come to Duke School of Nursing and never thought in a million years it would come to fruition, but it did. And so moved and always lived in Illinois prior to that and always have taught maternity. So just like our new curriculum that I'm going to share with you all is new to Duke, but we are not new to nursing. 4 years ago was new to Duke, but not to nursing education. This is my 20th year as a nurse educator. That seems impossible because I'm only 23. And it's one of my greatest joys in life to help create and make future nurses. So thank you for the opportunity to speak with you all. Our new program that I'm going to spend most of my time talking about is the one that's launching this fall. And it is the Master of Nursing or MN program. And so hopefully after this presentation, you'll have a greater understanding of what that means, not only for Duke, but as you're considering programs to apply to or as part of your continued journey. Our admissions team is here. I would be remiss if I did not share their information. They are all wonderful and amazing and can answer just about any question you might have. So don't hesitate to reach out or email just the general email, SON admissions, that's listed here, and you will definitely get a response. And if you don't, now you know how to get a hold of me. And I'd be happy to connect you with all the things that you need. So thank you so much for that. So as I said, we have a new program that's launching in fall of 25. So, but it's not new. We're not new to pre-licensure and nursing education here at the School of Nursing at Duke. Just a little history. We started in 1931, so we're almost 100 years young with a diploma program. In 1953, we established our Bachelor of Science of Nursing program, which was pretty forward thinking for the time. In 2002, after I forgot what year we sunset, we eventually sunset the Bachelor's of Science traditional program at Duke University for a multitude of reasons. And then in 2002, we resurrected the Bachelor of Science degree, but made it the accelerated Bachelor of Science nursing degree. So for folks like you that have a bachelor's degree in something else or life experience in something else and decide that nursing is your passion and you want to pursue that. So we have been doing this consistently since 2002. As of May, we've had over 2,100 graduates from our program, and we've been consistently ranked in the top 3 programs by U.S. News and World Report for Bachelor's of Science of Nursing programs. In 2025 in fall, like I said, we are very proud to launch our new program and new degree. And we are one of the first in North Carolina that was approved. That was approved in September, which is why we're moving forward kind of quickly with it. We couldn't wait until the Board of Nursing in North Carolina approved it because it is a new program and a new degree for the state. And so we had to wait for that approval. So we are the first MN in the state, but not the first master's entry. One of our colleagues at University of North Carolina, Greensboro, is also launching this fall a similar program, but a different degree. So we're really proud of that. Some of what our pre-licensure program outcomes are now, we expect to emulate in our MN. So I don't see any change at all in our fantastic data and outcomes here. So in case you're not aware, to get once you graduate with your nursing degree, you have to sit for licensing exam. And that licensing exam is called the NCLEX-RN. It is a national exam, but then you are licensed in whatever state you're going to practice in. So everybody in the United States, no matter where you get your license, is taking this same exam. And I could talk for a whole hour about that exam, but I will not. So one of the data points that is reported, and it is public knowledge, is what is your first time pass rate for taking that exam? It's in the state of North Carolina, they report it annually, but also a 3-year average. They have not released the 22 to 20 or the next 3-year pass rate incorporating 2024 data as of yet. So that 90% is definitely going to go up. But regardless, it was still above national and North Carolina average. And you can see our averages below for our current classes. Our December 24 graduates has an asterisk because they now all have not taken the exam yet. We are probably 2/3 of the way through our graduates. And so far we are on target for about a 97% pass rate. So we're very, very happy, which again is well above national averages. Our people, when they join us, usually graduate on time, which is great. We are a 4-semester program. The only reason I have seen in my tenure here as to why someone doesn't graduate or graduate on time is because life happened. So it wasn't because they were unsuccessful. It's because they had a baby and had to take a break, or they have served in the military or more active military and had to go for and take a leave to complete some obligations for their military service. Or they've had an unfortunate diagnosis that required a break and then they come back. So most of our learners, the vast majority, as you can see, once they're here with us, they finish and they finish on time, which is great. 87% of usually committed to a position are actively looking. Um, it's a great time to be a nurse. Nurses are in high demand, and it's very to your benefit if you're entering the nursing practice because you can take your time at looking at offers and take multiple offers and negotiate a little bit. So that's probably why it's not 100%. And some students choose to say, I'm not going to even think about a job because I know I'm a nurse and I'm going to get a job and I'm a Duke nurse and I am going to get a job. I'm a wanted person. And so I'm not going to even look until I pass my NCLEX. And then I have that pressure off me. And then I'm going to focus my efforts on job search. We've also had several graduates that leave our program and go right into continuing their education. So I can think of 2 or 3 students who have graduated recently that got into our PhD program right out of the gate. So they don't have time to look for a job when they're starting a full-time PhD program at Duke. So that's another reason why the employment maybe isn't 100% at 6 months or committed to a position. So our learners are pretty phenomenal folks and do a lot. So if anyone's willing to chime in and answer my question here, and it can be done about a Master of Nursing degree, but a nursing program in general, like what are some things you want to know about or you're looking for that is making that something that's interesting to you? Is anyone willing to come off mute or put it in the chat? I'd love to hear it. It's the teacher in me. I can't just talk at you. You gotta like interact with me. I can't help myself. So.
Well, I guess for me, I think I want to do neonatal. So
Great.
whatever program I go to, I would love if it would have like a unit on mother baby or pediatrics or just something in that general area.
Great. That's a great thing. That's an important question to ask. I will say some programs based on um, geographical location and what resources they have available. Sometimes, even though they might have a pediatrics or maternal child course, might not have the opportunity to have the clinical component with it. So I think that's a really important question to ask. We are blessed that we are in what's called the research triangle of North Carolina. So Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And within there, we have more trauma and high level healthcare centers that have those specialized things, those high level NICUs, specialized pediatric units. And North Carolina just announced yesterday it's going to take 10 years. So it's not going to be to fruition yet, but they are building in a collaboration between Duke and UNC. The first standalone children's hospital in the state of North Carolina is being built in the area as well. And it's supposed to have 500 beds, which is like ginormous. So that is coming. But that's a great question, Bella, to like as you are looking at things, even though they might have a course in those topics, they might not be able to have the sites for clinical, and we have those here. So that's great. Great question. Anything else someone is really passionate or looking for in a program?
Um, I would say like for me, I think I'm like really interested in like the clinical aspect of it. Like I know a nursing program um kind of near us here has like these kind of like dummy human beings that you can do like fake like practice stuff on. And I think it's just cool like getting like really close to hands-on experience and like doing clinicals with like real people.
Yeah. So you're talking about simulation then, and that is very, very prominent in nursing programs. This picture you're seeing here is from one of our simulation spaces, actually. Um, depending on the state and the state regulation, they do allow a ratio of you substituting inpatient or human patient clinical for simulation experiences. We have both, which is great. Our lab, and I don't know if I have a slide about this, so if I do, we'll skip over it later, but one of the things we are really proud of, and I think it's something to ask if you're looking into programs is, do you have a simulation lab? How much do you use it? At what point in the program would I be in the simulation lab? Seeing the simulation lab, asking those questions is really key. We have a very large, very robust simulation lab. And I want to say labs. It takes over half of one of our floors, as well as another part of a building next door that we're connected to. We call it the Center for Nursing Discovery. And we also have in person a registered nurse anesthetist program, our CRNA program. So we even have ORs, operating rooms that they practice in as well. So we have very robust. The other thing we're extremely proud of is that our simulation space is one of the only in the world that is accredited and recognized and certified as one of the best health simulation spaces by all three international accrediting bodies. No other nursing school program has a lab. They might have one certification or maybe two. No one has all three but us. And the other really cool thing that we got this year is our C&D director applied for a grant and was awarded a multi-million-dollar grant. And we now have a hologram machine. So we actually have, it's to teach our learners how to care for geriatric patients. It's focused on that. So we have virtual reality items where students will put that on and experience it. What is it like for a geriatric or older adult patient in their home to try to walk, open pill bottles, see with vision impairments? How do you navigate that and teach that in safety? But also the hologram machine comes on. It is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And it is like they're really sitting there and you are like talking to them and assessing them. It is like I'm a little excited about it. Sorry. But so we use a lot of lab space then is what we're telling you. But we also recognize the importance of being in the real life clinical setting so that you can actually see and feel what is it really like to be a nurse practicing today. So we think that's really important too. We also focus on community health. I'd like to point that out too. Nurses do a lot more than to work in hospitals. And so we have a very robust clinical community health with a clinical. We have a population health course that students will take. And we also provide opportunity for global community health clinical. So some of our students, instead of doing their clinical locally, which is magnificent with our magnificent clinical partners that are in our Durham community, they will spend 2 weeks between semesters to do their clinical hours for community at I've been to Rwanda with clinical groups, Tanzania, Barbados, Guatemala, Honduras, Philippines, and I think we're trying to go to China is our next global stop that we're trying to do. So there's a lot of opportunity to see global health and how nurses make an impact, but also how nurses are impactful in the community and not just in that acute inpatient space where we tend to think of our nurses. So I think that's important too. Anything
Thank you so much.
else? Go ahead, Finn. Great. Keep me coming. Anything else, team, that you think is important or you're curious about? Hmm. Well, hopefully some of these other things will bring up maybe topics for you too. All right. So we nursing schools can choose to be what's called accredited. Okay. And so accreditation is a process that allows you to kind of get a gold stamp, right, about you are meeting the high standards of accreditation for your nursing program. Um, State of North Carolina is now requiring schools to have some sort of accreditation. Other places it's optional. Again, it depends on the state. But even before North Carolina has required it, we have always done it at Duke because it's important. It's important for our learners to know that, you know, we are an accredited school and we know what's happening. Hold on, my slides just went away. Hold on one second. So I want to make sure you guys understand what accreditation is and what competency based is. So hold on one second. On the current slide. There we go. Okay. So we are accredited through the American Association of Colleges of Nursing. There also is an accreditation through the National League of Nursing. And the American Association of Colleges of Nursing recently revised their what's called the essentials. So what are the standards that schools have to meet? And they've moved to something called competency-based education. And the focus of that, and that definition is provided for you here. And the impetus for that is that they have looked at data on new graduates over time, and we've come to realize that the way we've been teaching our learners all this time is probably not the most effective in order to make our learners practice ready. And one of the pieces of practice ready is patient safety. And so what they've now charged all of the schools that are accredited through them is to move to what's called a competency-based education curriculum. So what this means, it's not a one and done. It's not a checklist. It's not do this in the lab when we consider you competent. It's giving the learners lots of opportunity to demonstrate at multiple points in the program and in multiple ways and in multiple populations that they are able to do what we need them to do. It's about the doing, right? And so this is a great, I forgot I added this great what it is and what it isn't slide. So it's not like, oh, come in the lab, check these things, and you're done, and you take this test, and we say you're competent. It is really learner driven. And so we as faculty are moving into more of a coaching role. So helping you do a lot of self-assessment and reflection on your strengths and where are your opportunities for growth. It also helps mitigate bias because it's giving students not just a one opportunity to show that they're able to do something and be successful, but lots of opportunities to do it. So that's really important. And it's helping you relate what we're talking about to real world things, which makes it just more impactful for our learners and what the real world requires as a professional nurse. So the example I can kind of think about to make this hopefully come to life, because it probably still feels pretty abstract, is the concept, let's say, of vital signs. Okay. So, you know, if you go in the hospital or even just to a provider's office, right? They take your vital signs, so blood pressure, temperature, heart rate, all those things. So in the first semester, we have to teach you how to take, right? How does a nurse take the vital signs and maybe what normal range and abnormal ranges, right? In general. Okay, that's important. So that's one opportunity to demonstrate. But now we have to expand on that, right? So when you get into the, let's say the maternity course, because that's what I teach. So we are not taking care of pregnant folks or folks that are wanting to become pregnant or folks after they've had a birth. And so what does blood pressure mean for that person? How do you relate if it's high or low to their health and their outcomes? How does that impact their fetus or their baby? What do I do in clinical if I see a blood pressure of this? I can't just say, well, I memorized what normal is. Like I have to be able to understand that, interpret it, act on it, because I'm the nurse and it's my responsibility to know what's going on. Let's take it to another setting. Then you go to peds. What does it mean for a neonate, right? When their blood pressure is high or low, and what do I do about it? in the community, maybe with at a community center with a certain population. What does that mean? And how do I manage that in the community? Do you see what I'm saying? So there's lots of other opportunities. So it's not, so that's just one example, I think, for someone who's not in the space can kind of wrap their head around like, oh, it's leveling, it's scaffolding, it's moving. And at each level, you're having to demonstrate competency in those things and being able to do that. So I hope that that example helps. I know it's a little abstract, but hopefully it helps. So what is in our curriculum in our program? So we are a full-time program in resident, meaning that you need to move to Durham, North Carolina if you're going to join us. And it's very nice here in Durham today. It is 68 degrees, but last Wednesday it was 28 and snow and ice. So January is kind of a wild ride here, but overall, the weather in North Carolina is beautiful. We do get seasons, and it's humid. I'll just warn you about that. Humidity is a thing here, but so we are in residence, so not distance space. So you would need to move here. We are 63 total credits, and you will be prepared then to take that exam. We are awarding you a degree of the MN degree. So we still offer in our school a Master of Science of Nursing, MSN degree. And we decided as a faculty to keep that degree for our advanced practice nurses. So our nurse practitioners, our nurse educators, that level, second level of practitioner. And so instead, we have created and are awarding this MN degree. So it's still a master degree, but it's a Master of Nursing versus the Master of Science of Nursing. What we think is really cool about our new curriculum is that, number one, we still have electives in nursing. We are pretty buttoned up and we don't have a lot of chance for flexibility. But in our program, we give you the opportunity to take 2 electives. And those electives can be at the Master of Science of Nursing level. Also, in part of our core courses that I'll walk you guys through here in a second, there are Masters of Science courses that are part of the core if you're going to go on to be a nurse practitioner that you will automatically take in our program. So you could walk away graduating with us already checking the box for 4 courses that you would need for your Master's of Science degree. And because you have an MN from us at Duke, if you wanted to stay on and become a nurse practitioner here, it would be considered a postmaster certificate, which also cuts off and shaves off a lot of the other courses you would have to take. So that's pretty, one of the things we were really intentional about with our design. And again, we still have a robust amount of clinical hours that it's required for patient care lab and simulation. So 700 hours over the 4 semesters. This is our 4-semester curriculum. We admit in fall and spring. No summer class, no summer cohort starts, but fall and spring. You can see how it's kind of scaffolded here. We don't take a break. In that once you start, you'll get a small break in between the semesters, but we don't, there, you go 4 consecutive semesters. So you just keep on going so you can get done. It's called accelerated for a reason. So that's why we're doing it. Couple of things I want to highlight. So you can see semester 1, you will already start taking care of folks. We will start you with evaluating health and wellness in the lab to start to teach you the basics. And we're going to front load that at the beginning. And then at the same time, you will have clinical management 1. And so you will actually be in one of our wonderful facilities taking care of patients right out of the gate. So that's really exciting. And then we have our separate pharmacology and physiology pathophys course here in professional nursing. So you'll be in clinical about 12 hours a week on top of your course credits here. Then moving on, you can see we have a standalone psychiatric mental health nursing course. Our community course, which I talked about the global opportunities that are affiliated with that, our older adult Gero, and then informatics. healthcare systems and informatics. That course will be an online course. So even though you're here on campus, that is an online distance-based course, but everything else is in person. Third semester is when you will hit peds and maternity. Those have clinical associated hours as well as clinical management 3. And then Nurses Scholar is one of the courses that's required for our Masters of Science folks. And moving into the fourth semester where you have Population Health, which is the other Master of Science required course for our nurse practitioners. You'll take leadership. We have a 1 credit hour NCLEX prep course that you will take. That's pass fail. And then our transition to practice is what we call our some people call it preceptorship. So that's when you are paired with a nurse at one of our clinical sites and you complete over 240 clinical hours with them independently. So this is really where you kind of tie everything together before you graduate and get ready to actually enter practice. The other kind of cool thing we did was we're working on this piece. It's not finalized yet, but we're hoping that these electives, we're going to develop tracks that can give you a micro credential in something you're passionate about. So if you take course A and B on your transcript, then it says you have a micro credential in whatever that topic is. So we're working out that piece as we speak. So stay tuned for that. As I said, our lab, here's some of our lovely mannequins all dressed for all of our sporting events and things. But we are, again, ANAXL and Society for Simulated Healthcare endorsed and credited, which is very, very rare, as I said, in the world. These are some of our folks in classroom spaces with our educators. We use all of our textbooks from the Elsevier publisher, and we also have subscribed to their NCLEX prep product or readiness product called HESI, where there's periodic exams that you take throughout your time here that allows you to have a dashboard as your readiness for boards. We also have in-house Dr. Willingham, who is an NCLEX success and academic success coach. That is her job. And so she teaches the NCLEX readiness course, but then helps people actually one-on-one make their study plan for boards with you. She just helps you make it because she just sits with you and says, I've looked at all your scores and this is how you need to prep, which is pretty phenomenal. And then we also have lots of other supports with our Elsevier products that we've paid for to help our learners get ready for that board. As I said, we have a ton of clinical sites, both locally and globally. And the pictures that are here on the right are some global. So at the top, those were my Rwanda peeps that went with me to Rwanda. At the bottom, these are our lovely friends that went to Guatemala last summer, and they are amazing. So lots and lots of opportunity to do that. This is just some of our wonderful faculty and staff. We have 17 full-time doctorally prepared faculty for our program, and it wouldn't be ABSN. It is ABSN because we still have those students finishing up. So all of our pre-licensure students. And then we have our other support with our clinical nurse educators, faculty in non-regular rank, and disciplinary faculty that teach as well. Everyone is assigned an advisor from one of our faculty members from day one. So they are your person throughout your 4 semesters here until you'll get to know them well. But you also, faculty are very approachable. So I've always had advisees, but I've also had people that I've informally been mentoring and things like that because we have similar passions. So lots of opportunity to collaborate. We talked about our lab Center for Nursing Discovery. We have free peer and alumni tutoring through our Student Success Center, which also does career coaching, wellness coaching. You can sign up for one-on-one wellness coaching sessions for yourself as you're a student in managing stress. They house the peer and alumni tutoring, so it's totally free. You don't have to worry about it. They take care of that for us, which is amazing. And then again, I've talked about Dr. Willingham and her amazing coaching for NCLEX and academic success. We do a lot of fun things around here too. We again tailgate at a lot of our events where the nursing will sponsor it or groups will sponsor it. The two gentlemen down here, this was a volunteer activity they did for Pride Parade in the city of Durham. To the right is our iconic chapel that is on a lot of our literature. As a graduate, one of our traditions here at Duke is to climb the chapel. So we always set that up for our graduates to actually do the 239 steps up there. And it's a beautiful, beautiful tradition. Down below at the Red Bridge, that is our Sarah P. Duke Gardens. That's here. So we do lots of fun things too. We have a commitment to excellence ceremony. So these are the students after that. So right before you go to clinical, we have a really great ceremony talking about what it means to be a Duke nurse. And have wonderful alumni that come and speak about what does it mean to be excellent. There they are at Cameron basketball down below. And then our graduates outside, the December graduates graduate in the chapel. So this is them outside the space as well. A little bit of logistics. Your build, if you come to our program, it's by semester. The plan for right now for tuition per semester is listed here. So over the course of the program, that's the estimated total tuition. What's nice about our moving to the MN program is that because it is a master's program, it opens up the opportunity for more financial aid and loans because it's not a second bachelor's degree. So there's a lot more opportunity for our learners. Plus, we do give, I forgot the list of how many millions we give out every year for need-based support as well for our students. So we're really proud of that. And our financial aid department is really great about answering questions and what other resources and scholarships that are available that are out there. So they are wonderful, wonderful, and know much more about that than I. If so, what do you need to do if you want to apply to our program? You need to, by the time you start the program, have completed all of your prerequisites and your bachelor's degree. And the degree can be in any. It doesn't matter. We have students here now that were Bachelor of Arts in Music and Arts and Psychology and Biology and dance and all of the things. So it does not matter. To apply is a minimum of 3.0 GPA and then having those prerequisites. So sometimes learners or potential applicants will ask, can I apply before I finish my degree? Yes. That's very, very common here. And can I apply while I'm still taking my prereqs? Yes, you can. We will just follow up with you if you are accepted and you accept a seat, that the admissions team will then keep following up with you to submit official transcripts before the first day of classes that show proof of completing successfully whatever was outstanding for our prerequisites. Our fall priority deadline already has passed, so we're in the midst of doing our fall application reviews, but our spring is opening now, if it's not already open on our website. So for spring of 2026, that application is either open now or will be opening in any second. So I know it seems pretty far in advance, but that's the process. But that's also why we allow folks to apply before their degree is done or before those prereqs are done or anything like that, because that's really important. Our prerequisites are here. So you need A and P, level 1 and 2 with at least a B minus. A microbiology lab is recommended, especially, I'm going to talk about that in a second. I'll go through the other stuff. Stats, human growth and development, and nutrition is recommended. It's not required. You all are in California, and maybe that's where you're going to go back to when you get your nursing degree. Double check their requirements for licensure because they have, I think one of the big hangups is our lab is recommended for admission to our program. It's not required, but for the state of California to get a license, I believe the lab is required. So even if you graduated from us and you passed boards, if you're missing some of their requirements, they are not going to give you a license. Which I totally disagree with, but I'll just button up my mouth about that. So I just want to be transparent since you all are in California and you might be coming back to California or staying in California. Double check what those little requirements are. Because if you just get them done now, then you don't have to worry about it. So that's really great. Let's see. I think. Yep, there's a $50 application fee, and you do need 3 letters of recommendation, and then there's I believe 4 personal statements, 4 prompts that are provided to you to fill out as essays, and they restrict how many words and all the things to it, and I can't remember what that is, but there is 4 essays for that. So if you were interested, it's the one if you want to apply, it's MN. And that's the one you would click on because that's what you would qualify for. And then the admissions team reviews it to make sure you meet eligibility. And then it's sent to our admissions committee for review. And then we let people know, I think for the fall, we'll probably let them know by March 1st if they've been accepted or waitlisted or denied for fall. We also offer twice a year for those that have been accepted, either waitlisted or been offered a seat, what's called Duke Days. There is a virtual component, but we hope that folks usually come to campus so that before you make your decision, you can come meet me, meet faculty, see the building, tour the C&D, see all the things. So we do have those twice a year too for Duke. I think that's it. I talked a lot at you. I'm gonna stop sharing. I see there's something in the chat. So to clarify, the ABSN is not transitioning, it's sunsetting. So our last ABSN group just started now. So we are no longer advertising nor taking any sort of applications for the ABSN. So it's sunsetting and we are rising our MN. So yes, great question. So whew, did I hit everything? What else do you have questions about? It can be not like you, but nursing in general. I'm biased, but I'll answer anything.
I had a quick question about the path to, I guess, nurse practitioner. Or so if you get the MN, how would you then become an NP? Like, what's the transition from getting your MN to NP?
Great. So depending on what advanced practice nurse you're interested in being, some of the disciplines require practice experience first, and others you can go right from the MN or even our ABSN into the program if you're accepted. So for example, we have a neonatal nurse practitioner program. That requires practice experience before you can apply or start the program. We also have a psych mental health nurse practitioner program. That does not require it, that you could transition right into. Same thing with our family nurse practitioner program, nurse educator, nurse informatics, to name a few. So it depends on what your track or what your specialty is, whether or not that's a requirement or not. CRNA, you have to have experience. So the way our program is structured, so MN, you will sit for boards, you will have this master's degree. So you will be practicing as a registered nurse. So because we are having you in our curriculum already take some of those master's core courses, no matter what specialty you choose, there's kind of there's 5 core courses that every master's of science nursing has to take. So population health, Nurses Scholar 1, there's like 3 others, like informatics, there's a couple others. So you could, between your electives and what's required in our MN degree, already get those done. So whether you choose to come to Duke for your nurse practitioner degree or somewhere else, you're already ahead of the game. because they're probably going to accept those credits because if they know it's part of the core, no matter what program you go to, everybody takes that and then they divide off into their specialties. Here you would be considered, and other schools might take you as well in the same vein, but here you would be considered a postmaster's certificate student if you wanted to go into the nurse practitioner and get the MSN. And then you take another licensing to be a nurse practitioner or CRNA. I wonder about if international students are welcome. Yes, we have lots of international students here. I think this semester we had 2 students start from China, one from Korea and Ethiopia, I believe this time. So yes, it is definitely an option. The transition from doing school at Duke and working in another state like California. Yeah, so California is complex. Their licensing thing, and I talked about that briefly a little bit. But even if you transition to another state, um, like I said, it is a national exam. So once you take the exam and you have a license in a state of the United States, if you needed or wanted a license in another state, for the most part, California is one of the exceptions, but for the most part, all it requires is you showing proof of licensure in another state, and you pay that state whatever their fee is to get your nursing license, and you're done. It's called licensure by endorsement. The first time you get your license, any state, it's licensure by examination because you need to take that exam. But if you take your exam and you pass and you get a license and you maintain your license, you'll hopefully never have to take that bloody exam ever, and you'll be done. I don't know if that answers the question, Kimberly. Okay, cool. What else, team?
There was one more question in the chat. Says, but do these 4 semesters mean around 2 academic years?
Yeah, so it's 16 months because we just keep going. So it's not even two really, I wouldn't even call it 2 academic years, but it's not. 16 months, you're done. Is
I think one question that I and probably some others are wondering is I don't know if you mentioned it already, but what is like the approximate acceptance rate to this program?
great question. Um, so it it I don't know the exact percent because it depends on how many applicants we have every time, right? And that, to be honest, then that waxes and wanes. And this is our first time going around with the MN, so we don't even have like a lot of historical data. Here are some positive things that I think. We subscribe to holistic admission at the School of Nursing. And so I'll be honest, the GPA is a checkbox for us. It is not the end all be all. We just make sure, do you have a 3.0 or higher? Check. We are looking for future nurses that are well-rounded and are going to meet the needs of what our communities need in the world. And so we're looking for who you are and what your experiences are. And so when people are like, what are you looking for in an essay? We're looking to know who you are. Be honest. Let us get to know you. Tell your story. Own your story. Like, it's amazing. And I know some people are like, what if I do all this volunteer work? And what if I have a 4.1 million GPA or whatever? That's great. That means great. You're checking the box that you can handle the rigor of this. But we want to know you and who you are and what are you going to bring to the table to help make our communities more diverse and to meet the needs of our growing population. And so we should have on our website now, what does it mean for holistic admissions? Our admissions committee chair and one of our admissions officers kind of did a quick video to kind of talk people through that. So for the most, and then the other dovetail positive thing is that we don't have a cap on our seats. So it's not like we will only, here's our list. We take 30 and that's it, like type thing. We have targets, our cohorts sometimes are well over our target and sometimes they're under, depending on life for people, right? Like they might accept a seat and then at the last minute they can't come, right? Whatever happens. So um, we have cohorts of 60 all the way up to 85. So it just really kind of depends on what shakes out. I know that's not a great answer, but it's the honest answer. So I
Awesome. Thank you.
transparency.
I
Yeah.
don't blame you, especially with it being such a new program. I mean, it makes sense that you guys wouldn't have like an
Yeah.
exact number.
Yeah.
So
But I think it's also important to know like other places will say like we take 30, right? Or whatever their number is, and like it's a hard stop. Mhm. I think there was something else. What would you mean say competitive candidate? Well, I hope some of my things I just talked about said that our questions, if you start an application, you'll see our questions of what we're looking for. And we're really looking for you to tell your story about those questions and your life experience. And um, we really love a diverse community of learners. And when we say diverse, we mean diverse by experience. Like what was your degree, right? Like what's something you're passionate about? Where did you grow up? Like what all of these things, how have you addressed a challenge in your life? Like where have you been a leader? Like what are you looking at those things? So it really um we're really looking for you to be honest, tell us your story, answer the questions. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but answer the question. There's times when we read stuff and we're like, I didn't answer the question. Like, I don't know what I just read. Like, answer the question and tell us your story so that like your story comes clear on the page. Um, I think we also added, we know we're in the age of AI, 100%, and AI can be really helpful, but we want to know who you are. Like, so AI is a great coach and like it's going to catch grammar and that's great stuff too, but AI isn't going to tell us who you are, and we want to know who you are. Can you have a job while completing the program? Oh, it's such a good question. I love that. Maybe. Um, it is a lot and it's fast. And if I had to do over again, I don't know if I could do this program as a learner. It's a lot. Um, But we also understand we don't prohibit people from having a job because you're adult learners. This is a graduate program. It is a graduate school. And so, not everybody has that opportunity or luxury of maybe taking 16 months off and just focusing on school and life, right? Um, I would say the best jobs, if you need or want one, are ones that are flexible. So they can kind of morph around your schedule, your week, your needs, right, for semester or whatever. Um, I also would say that most folks, like if I've had students who've started the program working 20 to 30 hours a week, they usually burn out very quickly and have to cut hours. I have a lot of learners lately that I've talked to, and they're like, yeah, I work 8 hours a week, or I'm nannying, or I just pick up one nurse's aide shift, or whatever their job is. Like I just work one day or one afternoon a week. And they seem to be okay with that too. But I feel like it's very personal as to what people want or need. So it's hard to say. But I think if you are working, like I said, something that is very, very flexible will serve you well. I think that's a great question. This is awesome. Anything else you want to know about?
Is there any advice that you would give to someone thinking about nursing or just something that you wish someone would have told you when you were considering it?
Wow. Sure, I can think of something. Um, Number one, I think you need to enter a nursing, I'll talk about program and it kind of feeds into career. I think no matter where you go, you need to enter nursing with a growth mindset. And here's why I'm saying that, we're an accelerated program. You guys, where you go, will probably wherever it is going to be an accelerated program. And it's hard and it's a lot. And for a lot of folks that have we you're high performing people. I'm getting the sense, usually very driven and motivated and A kind of students, and that's great. Um, and so sometimes when you are used to that, when things get really challenging, or maybe you're getting a B or even a C, um, we tend to self-shame and blame, and think, I can't do this, I'm not smart enough, I'm not this, I'm not that. And that's not a growth mindset. Um, you can do it, but it's hard. It's hard. And it's okay that you have a B. And guess what? You can still get into graduate school with a B. Oh, what? You can still get a job with a B. They just want to make sure you're an awesome human and that you have a license, and you have other amazing qualities that they're looking for. So B's and C's are not the end of the world at all. So I think if you can come in with being open and a growth mindset, I think it will help stress a lot of it, as well. I think having a really long-term goal is great, but also being flexible, because sometimes when you're in it, things that you thought you would love, you might not love. And things that you thought you would hate, you might actually think are pretty cool. So, keeping that open mind of like, I think this is my long-term plan, but I'm also open to if the universe shows me something else. I think that that's a great opportunity too. I would say I have never regretted 1 minute, 1 second becoming a nurse ever in a million years. Um, it is an amazing profession. There's so much you can do with your nursing degree. Nurses are everywhere, whether we realize it or not. And so it can morph with you as your life changes, or as your priorities change, or as you grow as a human. There's so many things that nursing can do and you can do with nursing that, it's been one of my greatest gifts. And I've not regretted it for 1 second at all. It's amazing. And we are the most trusted profession, by the way. Okay. Number one for years and years and years, just came out again. Yes. So people like us. I mean, we're kind of cool. I don't know. It's pretty great. Anything else, team? Awesome.
Well, thank you so, so much for taking time to speak with us. We all really appreciate it. And um, yeah, it was a lot of good information, especially I still can't get over the hologram thing. That seems so awesome.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I still can't believe it. So things keep changing. That's good. It's exciting time.